What's up everybody, it's CJ and I'm back with another Sims 3 furnishing video. Now this is not a furnishing video for the world of Pleasant View. This is a completely different custom world that I'm building for. The world that I'm building for is called Fort Briar. It is by Damien F519, or also known as Gargamel. Now in the past I have built and furnished houses for Gargamel, but this time he asked me if I just would like to furnish instead of like building from scratch, and I said yes because as y'all know I have been in my furnishing era for a while and I just love it. He asked me if I would be willing to furnish and I said sure, so he sent me a bunch of different builds to work on. So the world is not out currently, but it will be out eventually. So as of now I just have the builds, I don't really have the world itself. So I'm building this in Sunset Valley. I just kind of placed it down on a, I think 30 by 40 lot, I want to say. Now in addition to all of that, usually y'all know when I do these furnishing videos, I tend to just change whatever I want and just kind of go into my own direction. However, I was not allowed to do that this time. So Gargamel gave me very specific instructions on what I can do, what I cannot do, how he would like things to be. So for one, I was not allowed to change anything that was already here. I'm gonna assume that Gargamel meant like objects because some of the houses have objects already placed down. I assume that's what he meant, but I took it the extra mile and I just considered the floor plan as part of that. So I didn't change the floor plan, I just kept it as was. I didn't change the windows or anything like that. The only thing I did do with the windows, and you'll probably see it, I turned on a cheat which allows me to edit apartment lots, and all I really did was just change the color of the window on the inside and also the door on the inside, but I didn't touch it, I didn't move it, I just changed the color of one side of it. So hopefully that's allowed Gargamel. In addition to all of that, y'all, I was not allowed to use store content or stuff packs, and also I couldn't use custom content. So basically I had to use things from either the base game or from expansion packs. So that is what I ended up doing today. I did catch myself. I did use one of the plants from the Town Life stuff pack, but I did take it away, so I didn't use it. As far as I know, everything should be within the rules. If it's not, let me know. I could change it, Gargamel. Now, usually y'all know when I do these kind of videos, I tend to have a storyline or a sim in mind. And at first, I didn't really. For one, this has to be a starter home. I forgot to mention that. This is a starter home. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom starter home. And I just kind of knew that was going to be a tough order to begin with because I'm like, Sims 3 starter homes are kind of expensive, you know, or at least mine are, because I kind of want to put as much stuff as I can in them. So having to stay within the budget was kind of hard. So when my brain was trying to figure out like what kind of sim I want to live here, how I want this to be, at first I was gonna make this into like a nice, like maybe kind of like a slightly modern, nice apartment. But then the more I looked at it, the more I looked at the hallway and just like the building as a whole, and I was like, you know what, if I can't really change anything else, I was like, maybe we can kind of play into the vibe. So I'm kind of getting like a 70s 80s kind of vibe from this apartment complex. So especially with the hallway, it kind of just reminds me of like the 70s and 80s, especially with the carpet and wallpaper. So I played into that for this apartment. So it went from being like a slightly modern-ish apartment to a very retro apartment, or I guess it just very outdated apartment at this point. So the sim that I have in mind is a young adult sim who needed a place to stay. So she finished university. She didn't want to go back home with her parents. She wanted her own place, but she didn't have a lot of money. And yeah, so that was the dilemma. And you know, a lot of the apartments that she saw were nice in what she wanted, but they were just way out of her price range. So she ended up finding this apartment that was for rent. But the only downside is that it's very outdated and it just is missing a lot of amenities that most apartments will probably have, you know, like Wi-Fi. It doesn't have any of that. It doesn't have like a gym or a spa on the inside. So she was like, you know what, I'm just going to make the most out of the situation. You know, if it's, you know, maybe I don't need Wi-Fi, I can just buy my own, or maybe I could just use my phone. I don't really need like a gym or a pool inside of this apartment. I could just go to one in the town. So she's trying to make the best out of the situation. You know, it is a 2-bedroom, and I feel like she probably is at some point gonna want to get roommates to kind of help split the bills. Luckily for her, both of the rooms kind of came with beds already and dressers, so I feel like maybe at some point she will want to renovate and change it a little bit, because she got permission. She was like, you know, am I allowed to change the wallpaper? Am I allowed to like pull up the carpet? And they're like, sure, yeah, but you just have to pay for it yourself. Like, we're not gonna do it for you. So yeah, like I feel like it's one of those things where like maybe, you know, when she gets some money, she'll probably want to renovate it and not like make it look so old and outdated. But I feel like as of now, she should probably just kind of play into the vibes, you know. So yeah, like I said, it's very like 70s, 80s inspired. So there's a lot of funky colors and patterns everywhere. To me, it's more of like a 70s style home, but maybe like early 80s, you know? Yeah, so you will see a lot of patterns everywhere. We have like mushrooms in the kitchen. You'll see that like the whole entire vibe changes quite a lot. Like at first I wanted the TV to be right here in the middle, but then I was like, I kind of wanted it to be over there by the window. So there's a lot of like swapping around, placing things here and there. After I finished recording and before I like saved and like, you know, exported the build, I had to like look over everything to make sure I had everything. For one, I kind of forgot to put a sink in the kitchen, you know, so I had to go back and do that. This is like around the part of the video too where I was going back and forth to every room because I knew we had a budget. And I did not want to go over that budget. You know, Gargamel said, please try not to. So I was really not trying to go over the budget. So around this time, I was trying to just place things down that I knew for a fact that we needed. Like a kitchen, for example. We needed some chairs in the living room, beds for the bedrooms, like very essential things that your Sims need. I will say, though, in the end, I'm very proud of myself, y'all, because we had a little bit of money left over. And y'all know, usually when I do these, especially base game, kind of like budget restricted builds, y'all know, a lot of the times I cut it really, really close. The Sims will have like 1 simoleon, 2 simoleons left. But fortunately today, you have around like, I think 117 simoleons, or it's like either like 117 or 127. It's like around that area. You have like 100-ish simoleons if you move in here. So you won't be completely broke, which is great. We love that. But yeah, you won't be rich either. So your Sim would probably need to get a job, you know, just saying. Also, I had this big area here, y'all. I did not know what to put in this area. So if it was up to me, I would have drew a wall to kind of separate maybe like this hallway from the living room, but I didn't really know if that was against the rules or not. So the best I could do was just put half walls to kind of separate the space a little. So in this hallway, I put a really big rug. I'm using the one from Into the Future, which is not as much money as I thought it was going to be. It was only like 140, I think, simoleons, and I was going to use the one from the base game, which was 400, but luckily this one is just as big and is a lot cheaper, so I ended up using that. And also I ended up putting a desk. So I was going to put a computer, but I was like, if she's moving into a retro apartment, they probably won't have a computer here, you know what I'm saying? So maybe if she has a laptop or computer, she can bring it here, you know, but as of now, it's just like a desk. And then for the bedrooms, you know, I wanted to make sure that she had a double bed. We have a dresser, we have mirrors, there's plants. I was kind of upset that I couldn't use that Town Life plant because y'all know I love that plant. I use it a lot. So yeah, I couldn't use it. So I ended up like taking it away and I put a chair in here. So you'll see a little bit later on too, the wallpapers do change, especially for the guest room. I kind of went with stripes instead of like a green-ish kind of wallpaper. So yeah, a lot of things change here and there. So in the end, I think it looks a lot better. I don't know. I guess you'll have to let me know down below, like, what do you think about it? Like, if you like it, I don't know. Like, I think it's out there, but not in a bad way, you know? That's like one of the cool things about building in The Sims 3 is that we have the color wheel and then you have patterns and stuff and you can just kind of be super creative with it. I kind of miss that when I'm playing The Sims 4 because, you know, we're kind of stuck to the swatches, you know? But that's pretty much everything I would say for this entire build. And y'all, side note, I am very upset. I think I mentioned this the other day, but I'm a little upset right now because I had to basically reinstall The Sims 3. And in the process, a lot of my patterns and like designs that I have made over the years are gone. Now, they're not like completely gone because all I really have to do is just download my old builds and just save them. But that's a lot of work, okay? And I'm mad about it still because, for long story short, I had like a really weird glitch with my Sims 3 game where like I turned the game on and it was like super saturated. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And I thought maybe if I repair the files through the EA app, that would fix it. And it did fix it, but it was really weird because like whenever I would try to like play a save file, the game would crash. It would go right back to the EA app. So I basically had to reinstall the whole game, which fixed all my issues, but it was kind of annoying. And I also had to go ahead and reinstall all of my store content, which took hours. You know, everything is reinstalled. I'm happy about it. It just was kind of annoying, you know? And I guess on a more positive note, at least now my game is a little bit smoother because I accidentally deleted some custom content in the process. I was like slowly putting stuff back in my game and just testing it to make sure it would load. And I thought I had backed up some of my custom content and I didn't. I like moved a whole file over as opposed to like copying and pasting it. So when everything worked, I was like, okay, I'm just going to delete the copy and I'm just going to put in like, you know, the original files. No. I deleted the original files. So yeah, like I said, I think I mentioned this in a video recently, but yeah, if you notice that like you know, some things are missing here and there. That's probably why. I mean, I am a little happy in a way though, because my game is running a little bit smoother now. It has been chugging for a while, and I did say, this is the funny part, y'all. I just said this the other day when I was streaming that I wanted to reinstall the whole game. So, yep, I guess I got my wish. This is what they say. Be careful what you wish for, right? But yeah, at least now it's reinstalled. I don't have to worry about it, and now I have a little bit more space for more custom content, right? Like, come on. But anyway, y'all, that is pretty much everything for the entire video. I hope you like this apartment. I know it's kind of out there, it's kind of tacky, kind of outdated, but I like it overall, so maybe you will too. If you would like to download this, I am going to leave this one linked down below. Stay tuned because Fort Briar will be out soon. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Thanks for watching!